Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about basic concepts of geometry. Now, for our learning target in this video, I can represent points, lines, and planes using concrete and pictorial models. Now, so first, let's define geometry. Geometry is all about representing real-life figures in abstract form. It came from two Greek words, geo, which means earth, and metri, which means measurement. Now, so all representations in geometry are formed by three basic elements. So we do have the point, the line, and then the plane. So these terms remain undefined because they are simply ideas. Now, let's have point. A point describes a particular location. It has no length, width, or thickness. A line has infinite length but no thickness. It may be said to be a set of points. Now let's have our first representation for point. So we all know in this given map, we can locate a particular area or place and we can represent using a point. So one more. So we do have this button. So it's a simple representation of a point in real life, object or scenario. Now, how about the real life example of a line or representation of a line? So we have pencil and a ruler. Now, let's proceed with the third undefined term in geometry, and that would be plane. A plane has infinite length and width. It may be considered as a surface. So, example of representation of a plane in real life. So, we do have a piece or a sheet of colored paper. What else? So we also have the screen of our monitor or TV. Now let's proceed to subsets of a line. Now ray is a subset of a line that has one endpoint and continues on one side. In naming a ray, we start from the endpoint. So for example, we do have this given ray. So according to the definition, we do have one endpoint and it continues to one side. So as you can see in the given example, it continues to the right side. Now, take note in naming array, we always start with the endpoint. So for example, in this given illustration, we can have ray PQ. So again, it should be named as Ray PQ. If your answer or if your name is Ray QP, and that would be wrong. Now, moving on to line segment, it's a subset of a line that has two endpoints. Also, all the points in between its endpoints are, of course, collinear. For our example, looking at the figure here, so how are we going to name this? So to name a line segment, so we are gonna use the symbol for line segment, which is this one, and two capital letters. So for line segment, take note, we can switch or alter the letter. So we can have line segment RS or line segment SR. Either of the two, it's correct. Okay, moving on to the next terminology, and that would be coplanar. It's a set of points that lie on the same plane. Otherwise, if the points do not lie on the same plane, it is called non-coplanar points. And let's say, for example, I have the following points. At the front view of our illustration, we have points E, point H, point A, and point D. They are considered coplanar points because all of these points can be found in the surface or in the front view of our figure, okay? Or we can find this in one surface only. So how about an example of non-coplanar points? So for non-coplanar points, for example, we have F, we have A, we have a D, Okay, so let's say we do have three points only. So looking at point F and point A, they can be found here at the side view of the given figure, but for the point D, we can find it on another surface separate to the surface where we can find the F and then A. So that means even though there's one point only which is separated to the other or to the other set, then definitely this is already considered in general as non-coplanar. So again, for us to consider if the given set of points are coplanar, all of the points must be found in one surface only. For example, all the points are at the front view of the given illustration, or all the points can be found at the bottom view of the given illustration or figure, or of wherever surface of the given figure, provided that all the set of points provided or listed must be in one particular surface only. Now, let's proceed to another terminology, and that would be collinear points. These are points that lie on the same line. And other way around, if the points do not lie on the same line, then we call it non-collinear points. Now, for example, for collinear points, let's talk about points. So you have example for collinear point, let's say T, point A, and then point P. Okay, these are considered collinear points because as you can see, we can find these points here in just one line only. Okay, now for non-collinear points, for example, we have let's have point T, point P, point Q, point R, point V. So, as you can see, we do have this set of points wherein we cannot find all of them in just one line. They do not lie on the same line. So, definitely, they are not considered collinear points. So, another example, let's say we have set of points. We can just have 2 points, let's say point S and point Q. So looking at point S and point Q, let's say our S is here and then our Q is here, we cannot find the 2 points on the same line. So that means they are non-collinear points, as simple as that. Now, here, let's have our given illustration, and I'd like you to list down an example of a point, a line, a plane, a segment, and array here in the given illustration. So let's just give 2 examples for each. Even though there's a lot of answers for each item, or there's a lot of examples that we can have out of the given illustration. So let's say that's a point. Name a point in the given illustration. So I can have point S and point G. Okay. So again, in naming a point, we can use one letter and it should be capital letter. But if you wanted to write it completely, let's say for example, you want to write it as point S and point G, it's okay. So again, it's gonna be your choice if you're going to write the whole word, which is point, or just simply use one capital letter and not cursive. All right. Now moving on to a line. So let's name a line out of the given illustration. So let's say for example, I have line. How do we name a line? Line um EG. There. So line EG. So take note, in naming a line, you are going to use two capital letters which are not cursive. But take note, you can also have, okay, apart from naming using two letters and with this symbol, you can also use, okay, another example, we have line Y. Okay, we can use one letter to name a line provided that it should be cursive. So as you can see here in our illustration, we do have line Y in here. All right, now let's proceed. Another, let's say we have this time plane. Let's name a plane. So in naming a plane, you can use one letter as well, provided that it should be cursive. As you can see here in our illustration, we do have a cursive capital letter F in here. So that means you can use this to name a particular plane. Now, apart from that, you can also name this using, let's say, for example, we are going to name this plane F using other ways. So we can have, okay, what is that other way to name this plane F? So I can also name it as this one, plane A, B, C, D. Okay, I can use three letters or four letters, minimum of three letters, but here I'm just going to use four letters for the quadrilateral surface. So A, B, C, D. Take note that in naming a particular plane, you should follow the format of counterclockwise or clockwise, either of the two. Okay, so do not shuffle the points in each vertices or in each corner of the given plane. So take note that it should be patterned by clockwise or counterclockwise. So for example, another example, let's say plane D, A, B, S. Okay, I can use that. Or you can also have another example. We can also have um plane C, D, A, B. Okay, either ways, these are correct. All right. Now let's proceed with um segment. So how do we name a segment? So actually it's almost the same with naming a line, but the symbol at the top must be segment. So again, we're going to use two letters and capital letter and not cursive. So let's say for example, I have segment CH. So another example, let's say we have line segment BA. Okay, by the way, if your answer is line segment BA or line segment AB, it's correct, either of the two. Okay, next, I can have um, line segment. What else? So there's a lot of examples here that we can use, but yeah, I'm just going to have random examples in here. Now, let's proceed with array. How about array? So how are we going to name array? It's almost the same with line and segment, but the symbol at the top of the letters must be a array as well. So for example, I have ray M E. Okay, so again, as mentioned a while ago, in naming array, we should always start with the endpoint. So ray ME, or another example, we can have ray MG. There, so ray MG. So take note, in naming array, we use two letters, capital letters, not cursive, and you should always start with the end point. Okay? Now, let's proceed with parallel lines in the same plane that never meet. Okay, so what is the symbol that we use to indicate parallel line. So this one, this symbol is used. So for example, we have line, let's say line EG is parallel with line AD. So that's how are we going to use the symbol for parallel line. So another example, let's say we have line DG is parallel with line CH. Okay, you can have that one. Or you can also have a segment. You can use that as well for segment. Line segment AB is parallel with line segment DC. Okay, it's still correct. Or you can have line segment AD is parallel with line segment BC. So either ways, these are all correct. Okay, now let's proceed with intersecting lines. So it's just easy. These are lines that intersect. The common point between two lines is called the point of intersection. So again, let's take note, the common point between two lines which intersects, this is called point of intersection. Okay, going back, let's proceed with example. So here in our illustration, simply we don't have symbol for intersecting lines, but if you are asked to give an example of intersecting lines, so you just simply write line AE and line EG. So looking at the figure here, AE and EG, so they intersect at E. So the common point or the point of intersection is point E. All right. So one more example. Let's say we have um, segment CH and segment GH. So what's the point of intersection or the common point between the two segments? So we do have point H. So this one. All right. Now, let's proceed with perpendicular lines. Are lines that meet at 90-degree angles. It is indicated by the symbol, this one. So again, the symbol that we are using to indicate perpendicularity, so this one. Okay, so how are we going to use this symbol? So for example, we do have segment DG is perpendicular with segment EG. So as easy as that. So as you can see here, it forms a 90-degree angle. So one more example. Let's say we have line segment mm, line segment AE is perpendicular with line segment EG. Okay, that's it. So that's how are we going to use the symbol of perpendicularity or perpendicular lines. All right? Okay, now so for another terminology, we do have midpoint. Midpoint is a point at the exact middle of two other points and divides the segment into two equal segments. So illustration, example. So if we do have this segment AB, and let's say we don't have label for our midpoint. Let's say this is X. Okay, point X. So here, our midpoint is point X. So as mentioned, if we talk about midpoint, it's the point that is located exactly at the middle of the two points. So for example, the length of segment AB is equal to, let's say, 50 centimeters. So if point X is the midpoint of segment AB, then we can say that AX is equal to 25 and the XB is equal to 25 centimeters. So if you're going to add this one, it will be equal to the entire segment AB. So that's the application of the idea of midpoint. So that means if midpoint is exactly at the middle of the two given points A and B here in the illustration, that indicates that we do have two equal segments in here, which are segment AX and segment XB. Alright? Now, let's proceed with opposite rays. So, how about opposite rays? So, here, an example is ray KJ and ray KL. So, again, we can simply use this name to indicate a ray. So, again, example here is ray KJ and ray KL. Again, I just would like to emphasize that in naming array, you should start at the endpoint always. So here, our endpoint for the two opposite rays is K. So K, J, and KL. Another example here in our illustration, we can have ray LP and ray L the endpoint in this opposite rays would be point L. And another example, we can have ray LQ and ray LN. All right. Okay, so one more terminology is skew lines. So we do have it's a pair of lines that do not intersect and are not parallel to each other. So to make the definition more simple, so take note of this. Skew lines, they continue in two directions forever. They are in different planes or they are not coplanar, they are never parallel, and they never intersect as well. So for example, here, let's name or give example of skew lines. So let's say we have line AE. So we have here, or it is also called line M. And then the other one is line, we have DC, or what we call line N. Okay, so here in the illustration, this is what I am referring to. It seems that they intersect, but in reality they do not. Okay, you imagine the figure in real life. The line N is found at the front view top portion of the figure, while line M is at the bottom side view portion of the given figure. They are not coplanar, they are not parallel, they do not intersect, and they continue in two directions forever. So, although they continue in two directions, still they do not intersect. So, those are example of skew lines. But of course, I'm gonna give another example. So, let's say we do have line CB. Okay, think of a particular line which is considered skew line with line CB. So I am referring to this portion. So line CB and let's say line HG. Okay, line HG. Okay, so these two are considered skew lines as well. They are not parallel, they do not intersect, they are not coplanar, and they are continuous in two directions forever. So if I'm going to extend the segment CB and the segment HG, they will never intersect. Okay, now for our short activity, you can pause the video for a while and then answer. Again, you are going to answer fact if the statement is correct all the times, and bluff if the statement might be false sometimes or might be true sometimes only. Okay, points that lie on the same plane are coplanar. It's a fact. Next, two distinct points determine a plane. It's a bluff. Okay, we cannot create a plane having 2 points only. Next one, three non-collinear points determine a plane. If we do have three collinear points, for example, we have here, do you think we can create a plane? Yes, connecting all the 3 points that we have, then we can create a plane. Okay, next, the horizon is a plane. So it's a bluff. It is supposed to be a line. Next, the stars in the sky are lines. So this is also a bluff because stars would is a representation of a point. A line segment is a subset of a line that has one endpoint and that extends infinitely in one direction. This is a bluff. This is the definition of a ray. Next, we have a speck of a dust is a point. That is a fact. Next, a page of a book is a plane. That's a fact as well. A wall of a classroom is a line. That's a bluff. One of the guitar strings is a line. It's a fact. And that's all. Hopefully, you've learned something new or you mastered the concept of points, lines, and planes, identifying those undefined terms in geometry, and at the same time, naming a point, a line, and a plane based on the given illustration. So, thank you so much and see you on the next video.